So chapter 4, and this chapter is going to deal with the development of anthropological thought. And this is one of the newest academic disciplines we have, even though people as far back as Herodotus or Aristotle were certainly keen observers of humans and human nature, human cultures. In the 19th century, change in Western worldviews from supernaturalism began to occur to naturalism. And in our last discussion board, I asked you to point out the perspective the book was coming from, and you guys did a really good job. I mean, some of you said secular humanist, some of you said natural materialist, some of you said evolutionist, and those are all correct. And that's part of what the book is referring to. During the medieval period, from like the 5th to the 15th century AD, Christianity dominated culture and academia, even philosophy. All the philosophers were also theologians. But when we get to the 16th century, after the Renaissance, we enter the period called the Age of Reason, or the Age of Enlightenment. The medieval period was called the Age of Faith. And so people now went from thinking in theistic terms. So like if the COVID happened in the medieval period, people would assume it was either God's punishment on them or the work of the devil. Everything had a spiritual underlying form. They weren't thinking of it in scientific materialistic terms. Now our society is so flipped that it's almost all we talk about is the physical aspects of COVID. We don't talk about, is there a spiritual cause? Are there spiritual ramifications? Even in Christian circles, I hear them talking mostly in materialistic terms about COVID. But that's a worldview shift where we went from a theistic view that there is a physical material world, but also a spiritual world, and that spiritual world permeates the physical material, to now a world that it's just the physical material. And our book and a lot of these theories are going to reflect that shift in perspective.